we'll post it later.
Okay. All right. I'd like to call this meeting of the Albany Public Library Personnel Committee to order. All members are present. So I think we did some really good work over the past week. Let's take a look at the agenda though. Oh, to begin with, I have to ask about public comment.
Thank you. So far we have not received any public comment. If anyone from the public wishes to public comment, they're asked to send an email to publiccomment@albanypubliclibrary.org. And also there is a voicemail that is monitored, 518-290-6905. Please leave your name and street address, and public comments will be read during the meeting.
Great, thank you. Next, let's move on to unfinished business. We began the review of 2 job descriptions in our last meeting, the Director of Finance and Director of Human Resources. And so let's continue looking at those and see if maybe we can get those positions approved. Or do they have to then go to like P&G or someone else? No, right?
No, it's just the positions just need to be approved. That's pretty much it. The only thing we don't have is, let me just pull up the documents, sorry. So we do not have compensation, I believe, on those.
Okay. And would that be based on qualifications or?
So this is, I will let the committee know, this is new for the board. In the past, all positions were created by the administration, posted and filled. The personnel committee about 2 years ago, and I agreed with this, made the decision of approving management confidential positions when they're created. So originally the conversation was all positions. We kind of came to an agreement that best practice might be management confidential positions. So this is where we're at. So I'm not sure if the personnel committee wants to get into setting the amounts. That might become difficult because then there'll be ranges. And does, if we're making an offer to a candidate, do we then have to come back to the board to get an agreement on an amount?
Yeah, I'm not comfortable setting the amount as the board because I think that a director of human resources in a public library is a different position than a director of human resources somewhere else. And I don't think that the level of expertise, I don't feel expert enough to determine what that range would be. I think that would require looking at the field, like the peer libraries.
Jenna, sorry, Tom.
Okay. Go ahead, Scott, and then I'll ask my question.
The control is the same control that the board has over all decisions. You all approve of a budget, and we have to work within that budget.
Yeah.
So, right now, we're already struggling with keeping below in personnel. So it's going to be a hard fit trying to figure out how to make these 2 positions work with the current budget that we have. If the board is, if your control point on this and hiring is your fiduciary responsibilities and overseeing the budget. So these positions might be approved and we might run through them in our budget projections and see that it puts us over in budget.
Well, so my first question is, how are the MC salaries set now?
We looked at, usually when we set like an L3 position, when we created, additional L3 positions, what we did was we kind of looked at how were these positions paid across the state. So we looked at comparable positions in public libraries throughout New York State. And then sometimes we would go out and we would look at school districts as well. And we come up with an amount that we believe reflects what they would be paid in Albany based on cost of living.
And when you say that we're creating 2 new positions. We're not actually adding any positions though, right? We're just redefining the role of human resource manager, and we're eliminating the budget manager position and replacing it with the finance.
Possibly. We can't actually say that. So we have to go through a hiring process. We have to post the job, interview for the job, follow civil service guidelines. Now, if by chance the most qualified candidate is an internal candidate, then it would be, we don't fill the position that this person, we may not fill the position that this person is leaving.
Are we able to approve these positions without a range? I guess my question is, where are we in our work with this?
Again, because this is entirely new for the library, it's really up to the board to make the decision. The personnel committee could say to me, listen, we want an income range and we want to see what the impact is on the budget. I don't have an issue with that. The committee can say, we're totally comfortable agreeing to this position. We're going to bring it to the board, have a vote on it, go ahead and start with hiring in this position. It is, you are all in new territory. I am not opposed to either. I have served boards where they got very into the minutia of the hiring and creation of a position, and Albany Public Library was probably my first library where I ever had as much freedom to create a position as I do. So I'm all about best practice, and best practice says what we're doing is right. And if we want to, I leave it up to you all to decide whether or not you want a salary range or you don't want a salary range, and I'm more than comfortable in doing that work.
So I tend to defer here to those of you who've served on finance. I'm comfortable with the way the positions are written.
I can go. I see trying to figure out which one of us is going to go. Yeah, I mean, from the finance angle, I try to stay pretty high level as far as we have a line for staffing, and, we let the staff figure out how that money is going to be allocated within staffing. So, I trust that if our executive director says we have capacity for these positions, that I'm fine as a trustee allocating a staffing pot and then letting the library allocate accordingly.
Yeah, I mean, I think I am too. I don't think the board needs to, make all these decisions, but it does kind of, I guess it just raises in my head a question that's bigger than what we're going to talk about tonight, which is what if, it sounds like we don't have anything written down about how we make the decision to set a salary. So I don't know if it's typical that some other organizations might have a policy that says, we'll try to set MC salaries at 50% of the, at the median of our state, or at 65% percentile of our state's salary scale for this position, or I don't know if organizations do that or not.
I can't think of any. I'm sure there are ones out there, because whenever I say no, there's somebody will find an example. So I don't know of any. And I also think that when it comes to management confidential positions, there is a little bit of the market. So in other words, this is non-union. The market, there are some restrictions with civil service, but you have to, at the executive level, which is what management confidential is at the executive level, and sometimes you have to let the market drive the cost. So I would be afraid that if we put in scenarios, variables like that, we might either price ourselves out or make positions that are overly attractive from a financial standpoint. I can definitely do some research to see if there's any libraries out there.
I agree with that. Yeah, I'm fine with going with no compensation for these two positions.
Okay.
All right, given that, do we want to bring them to the full board for approval, or are there changes that we think should be made in the language of this? I read through them and I'm okay with them. There was one thing where in the financial manager where it said that the person had to have like tact and what is it? Tact and courtesy, which I'm like, how do you measure that? That's kind of subjective. But aside from that, I'm into everything else. Honestly, they should have tact and courtesy, but
yeah, no matter what position you're in, should have tact and courtesy.
To be a human.
Sorry, just finishing skimming it quickly again as a refresher. Yeah, I'm okay with everything I'm seeing.
I think just jumping off of Jenna's point a little bit, it does seem like the finance position has a lot more things listed under knowledge, skills, and abilities than the human resource director. And it does seem like things like good judgment, initiative, etc., are human resource traits too.
So do we want to add after full performance knowledge, after proficient with Microsoft Office Suite and related software, do we want to add tact and courtesy, good judgment, integrity, initiative, and physical condition commensurate with the demands? I hate that.
I mean, what does that even mean too? You can crunch numbers.
It means you can move boxes and you can file things. And I sometimes wonder if that's really
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's necessary for these positions.
Okay, so I would say I would copy tact and courtesy, good judgment, integrity, and initiative. Do we just strike that from the director of finance? Tact and courtesy, good judgment, integrity, initiative, physical condition commensurate with the demands of the position. Can we just strike those?
If you can't move boxes, you can ask somebody in the office to help you move a box. I think you could still be our finance director.
In my view is, why would we have boxes? You know, if everything is digital in PDFs, can you lift a pile of checks?
Yes.
Now, this may be a civil service requirement for some. Again, my morning meetings with civil service, which was perfect for this meeting. So do we want to make the suggestion of striking these 5 items unless for some reason on a tablet at civil service,
it says you have
state government, it says you have to list these for a budget manager?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think with those changes, I'm cool with bringing it to the board so that we don't have to take another round back here.
Becky,
Yeah.
can you just write those notes because I don't have the original file to make those changes on the fly.
I'm trying to mute in between talking, so forgive me. It's just
okay.
sniffles. So given that, shall we move on to our next item? Which is finalizing the civil service letter from the board. Forgive me, I just have to open up now. I should have sent that. We all have access.
Yeah, we'll need a PDF for the full board packet.
Yeah. But we can take a look here, see if it looks good, and then finalize it. I can send that PDF. I apologize, Becky. I don't have access to any Google Suite at work anymore.
I added a couple things this afternoon in the middle.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see.
Is someone able to share their screen for the letter, or do you not want to? Because I don't have the letter.
Yeah, I'll share my screen.
Okay.
Okay. So can you guys see that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So can I just read it and we'll see how it sounds? And
Yep.
Sorry, that's how I edit. Idea. Okay. To whom it may concern, the Albany Public Library Board of Trustees is committed to maintaining a library workforce that is agile, diverse, and reflective of the community we serve. In furtherance of this commitment, to further this commitment, how about?
Sure.
We write to request that the position of part-time library clerk, and is that capitalized part-time for part-time?
It has, I could be wrong. This is me channeling Stephanie. It has to all be capitalized or all lowercase. Lately, I've been using all lowercase just to be safe.
Part-time library clerk, because I think it's a title. That's why, but be designated as non-competitive. And I'm gonna put a capital here. We'll send it through Stephanie before we send it out too, with the City of Albany Civil Service System. Currently, our part-time library clerks must be hired through a competitive civil service exam that does not reflect the skills required of the position. The exam for this position generates a pool of candidates better suited to office positions than the highly customer service-oriented work of a library clerk. Additionally, the process of completing the competitive exam has proven a barrier to applicants. Applicants for a part-time position of this pay grade are often dissuaded from applying due to the effort required to apply and the fee associated with applying. I could do with like one less apply in that sentence. To the effort required and the fee associated. With apply. APL believes that a non-competitive designation will create a more equitable application process and result in a more diverse hiring pool. Recently, the library, well, lowercase library there, was permitted to hire off list, which resulted in the most diverse candidate pool we have experienced in recent history. In recent years, do we know how many recent years?
Yeah, the comments 2017 was when I went.
All right, so we'll go with since 2017. APL has been raising the prospect.
I think APL has raised.
Since 2017, APL has been attempting
requesting.
Yeah, requesting this change of the commission. I think that that's more powerful. This change from the commission, of the commission.
No, it's requesting this change because it's not a change of the commission. It's a change of an item.
In front of the commission? No.
Of the commission?
Change of the commission. Given the current hiring climate, it has again become a pressing issue for our organization and one we hope to resolve, comma, so that we can continue providing excellent service to our community. The part-time library, library clerk position at APL is subject to high turnover, making it imperative that we have the flexibility to work quickly and efficiently to hire for this position in order to keep our branches staffed at a safe and effective level. To run on. Library is subject to high turnover. It is imperative that we have flexibility to work quickly. Yeah, I like that better. Further, our board is committed to providing our clerks with a living wage, a dignified wage, a livable wage.
I just flagged that because I didn't know if we're in the process of doing a new strategic plan that is going to readjust some salaries potentially. And I didn't know if living wage would be interpreted to mean a certain number.
Yeah. Fair wage? Competitive wage?
You're muted. I didn't hear you say something.
So I sometimes am concerned with saying living wage in terms of part-time clerks.
Yeah.
So I would strike living wage, fair wage, competitive.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah.
Good choice.
And would like to be able to offer we're going to take the word competitive out here, a salary for these positions that entices a broader pool of applicants.
And I guess if we're being, it's not really a salary, right? It's a wage.
Offer
compensation.
Compensation for this position. Offer compensation levels for these positions. I want to play with that sentence again when I'm not sitting here. Our board is committed to providing our clerks with a competitive wage and would like to be able to offer compensation levels for these positions. I just like those compensation levels for these positions that entices a broader pool of applicants. I would like to be able to entice a broader pool of applicants. What do you guys think of that?
I like that. That actually speaks to the change. I mean, we're talking about salary doesn't necessarily speak to the change, but making it easier, reducing the barrier.
Yeah. For all of these reasons, we would like to request that the part-time library clerk positions be designated as non-competitive positions. APL stands ready to engage with your office in order to make this change possible. Basically, we're saying, want help? We'll help you. to swiftly. I know, but that's snarky, right? Swiftly, in order to make this change. Okay. I like it.
Yeah, I like this too. I just went to the city's website and I think we should change the to whom it may concern to the Municipal City Service Commission. That seems to be the official name of our commission here.
Yeah, I think you're right. Civil Service Commission.
Called the Municipal Civil Service Commission.
Oh, the municipal, sorry, I didn't hear that. And let's see if there's another spot for that. I feel okay cleaning this up, sending a PDF to Becky and presenting this to the full board. Like, I just saw your chat about needing a vote for the positions. Do we need to vote on those positions? I'm looking at Sarah.
Sorry, switching windows.
Yeah.
I think so. Because
Okay.
Because
well,
the
why the
full
heck not?
board, yeah, it's one of those belt and suspenders. Even if we don't, we do, and then it's in the minutes and recorded that we approved it and sent it to the board.
Okay. Should we go back and we'll vote on that? Because I feel like we don't need to vote on the letter because it's just like we just have to bring it to the board.
I'd agree on that.
Okay. Rewind. Let's vote on those positions. Then I will promise to clean up the letter and PDF it before our next full board meeting.
Yeah, and I think Tom, did you go in and add that? You said you added a couple sentences later today. Because that takes care of my comment. So I'm actually gonna delete my comment. Oops.
Okay.
Yeah, what I really did was incorporate your
thank you. So
into the
I'm all
second
set.
paragraph.
And then Scott, one is just commenting this is accurate and then change. So are you good on your comments? We can just take care of them?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't realize. Okay, there we go.
Switching back to my Zoom window.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve. I can do them both together, right? I make a motion to approve both job specs or job positions and send them to the full board for approval.
Second. Am I allowed to second?
Mm-hmm.
Let's have Tom second.
I'll second.
Okay.
You want us to voice vote, Becky?
We can't hear you. Let's
voice vote. I think she said just a minute.
Yeah, I'm trying to, okay, so motion to adopt the revised job descriptions for both Director of Human Resources and Director of Finance. And I'm sorry, who made the first?
Sarah.
I did.
Sarah, and Tom second. Yeah, we can
What was that?
voice vote if you'd like.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And the motion passes. We will add this to the new business for the October 12th meeting. And they will be the second motion.
Okay. And at that time, we will present the civil service letter. I don't love the idea of editing by committee. Do we want to ask folks if they would be willing to sign on to the letter rather than bring it to them and say, do you have changes to the letter? Am I being too
And I think it'd be okay to say like this is what the personnel committee came up with after discussing with administration, and we think this is a good final product. I don't know.
Okay, so we'll request.
If you all have it in the draft packet, and it's gives them some time to review, or I'm wondering, Sarah, do you circulate it early just to see if you can get any feedback on it? That's sometimes done.
We can do that.
I mean, we've done it in the past. Other boards I've served have done it. Just said, hey, this is the letter. This is what we're thinking. Does anybody have anything they want to add to it? And that might move along the discussion so that it's not editing by committee at the board meeting, which will make all of us cranky.
That was where I was at. Yeah.
I get it.
All right. So let's finalize. I'll get it to you, Sarah. And then I think you've got it, actually.
Oh yeah, Google Doc. Well, yep.
Yeah.
Do you want me to just change the permissions so the board, full board has access to edit and suggest?
Let me stop showing my screen.
Remember, not every board member can view Google Docs. Not every board member can view Google Docs either in general or at work. So that's been an issue before in the past.
Thank you for reminding me. I can send it two ways then. I can send the Google link for some people if they're able to comment or suggest on it. And then I can also attach it so that people can read it.
Yeah, and you could say, please, you could even allow them to track changes if that's not a technology barrier. All right, shall we move on to new business, which is the position descriptions? Or do you guys want to call it, because we're at 7:40, and do position descriptions next meeting?
Well, I don't have the.
Let me email them. I have them. I apologize. I'm going to call it the fault of Albany Med that I can't get to anything ever while I'm at work, and then I forget when I get home. What I want to emphasize is not Rebecca's fault, it is my fault. All right, so Scott sent these to me.
And it's a spreadsheet that's a link to, we're trying to keep it so that whatever we send you is the doc,
Yeah.
We don't want multiple documents floating around.
So I can open it. Can we share it with folks, or does it make more sense? Yeah, okay.
I mean, you should have editing rights, so you should be able to share it with the group.
Yeah, I think I can. I just wanted to make sure it was okay to. And then I say, let's do 2 a night going down the list. And we're just reviewing and making sure that the language actually makes sense the way that we do with P&G and policies, right? That's just gonna mute while I. All right, so I am looking at, just to say it out loud to make sure we're all on the same page, administrative assistant and assistant library director.
Okay.
Administrative assistant, I think, is one of the most recent that we've put together.
Yeah, it says revised June 2018.
Yeah. Under general supervision by the department head or higher level manager. Excuse me, the incumbent makes independent decisions. And I apologize for not getting this out before the meeting. I mean, this seems pretty apt to me. Is it okay to ask Rebecca if it seems like her job? Like,
That's fine. There's nothing about yelling at the executive director.
does it seem appropriate, or would there be changes you would make to it? I can send you the link too.
Yeah, send me the link because I don't have what you're looking at.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry about that. Well, then forget that you don't have to speak.
You're the owner of it, Rebecca. You made it.
What do you mean?
It's the city job description.
I got you.
You know what it is. Yep.
Well, no pressure. I sent it to you. The one thing I was going to talk about is the
I don't prepare vouchers for payment.
Oh.
Yeah, I think the only thing is that one line
About preparing vouchers.
Yeah, that's a business office task that I haven't really involved in, so I would, yeah.
I think.
Oh shoot! I'm sorry. My child is screaming at the door. I'll be right back.
Now remember, we leave this open-ended, so you may not, not everybody does typical work activities.
Right.
But if
want in the future, then yeah.
Yeah. So if we were to remove that, then that would make it so that, say that we wanted to assign you helping Crenall process vouchers.
Right. That's fine.
Yeah. Wow, this is really spot on.
What about schedules?
Would you throw that in
Yeah,
where it
maintains
says
office calendar and room reservation.
Yeah, but it's more than the office calendar. I actually publish for the organization.
the staffing schedule.
Yeah, and really try to manage that process. And that's for the whole organization.
The only problem with that is I think if we added that in, we'd have to go to civil service.
Oh. It could also be more an HR function. So
yeah, I agree.
So I'm not sure if that if there's something in HR's description that already holds it, then I would leave it alone. Like one of those things we can get back.
Yeah, that is something I would like to see HR take on in the future.
Otherwise, yeah, it's pretty accurate. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I'm okay with that.
Do you notice that it has the tact and courtesy, good judgment of the whole physical condition?
Yeah, I have a funny feeling that
I should.
I have a weird feeling that's a civil service thing, and now I'm wondering
I think it is.
why it's been left out of the HR director description. So I have to ask Marjorie tomorrow.
I probably should put work orders in more often.
Yeah, so I know we're going to check to see if these items are civil service requirements, but just to voice my opinion in case we see this, 27 more times, just in terms of the physical condition bullet point, I'm not really a fan of it for office positions where it's not really necessary. I understand, some positions it's moving papers and filing, but, even if somebody wasn't able to do that, I think that there would be reasonable accommodations made. So I don't feel that that's actually a characteristic of positions that aren't overtly physical in nature.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with you on that.
Yeah, I do. I have done a lot of actual physical work, but that's because that's me. And I really should probably have like more work orders for like facilities to help out with table setups and chair setups and things of that nature. And that's something that we just started doing more with IT and facilities for the full board meetings. Because I was realizing this is just too much. So there are times like that. So normal admin assistant type position, yeah, there shouldn't be a need for that. I can wear my heels every day if I want.
Okay, so just to summarize, we're going to look into whether we're able to take the physical condition out. So is that an email to Bob?
That's not even. What I'll do is I'll bring it up to Marjorie tomorrow. I usually have a follow-up HR meeting after these meetings with her, so I think it's either tomorrow, it may be the day after. Now that I think about it, but I will definitely put this on our. We have a working agenda, so I'm going to put it on there and just say, hey.
Does this have to be there? And aside from that, I think this looks like a good description. I think we could say it's been revised for 2021, assuming that everyone else is in agreement, pending those changes.
I agree.
All right, shall we move on? And I'm gonna to the assistant library director, and I'm gonna put the link in the chat too.
Can we make an official vote? Do you have to vote on that? Because
not if there's no changes.
Okay, even just to add the revised, or it's not really a revised sort of.
Revised, and it's the full date, 9/21/2021. Okay. And then I just sent over the assistant director position.
Thank you.
This has changed a lot, right? Like, because of the nature of what Melanie does, but does that mean the position changes just because Melanie's position has changed?
No, I think this is kind of, I mean, this is the boilerplate assistant director. And Melanie really has, you know, I think it's the most fun job in libraries, but most people hate this job, which is you're the catch-all for everything.
Other duties as assigned.
Yeah. I mean, I hate the perform stack maintenance.
She doesn't perform stack maintenance.
No, like, no management confidential staff member should have to. That's like a passive aggressive thing that I'm really not a fan of. That I think it may also be in my job description.
I mean, that's we're all in it together with, like, we all have to weed. We all have to, like.
Yeah, but that's treating, oh God, this is where we're going to get in the weeds and everybody else in the conversation is going to roll their eyes at the librarians. Stack maintenance isn't
I don't,
just
I've never, I don't even know
it's not a job for everybody. You need to be good at it. It's a skill set.
Yeah.
You can't just send somebody into a stack and have them do stack maintenance. So I don't understand why it's in there, because that's a defined skill set that not everybody has.
Is it in clerk positions?
I believe it is, because it includes shelf reading, which I'm sorry, you don't want and I don't think you want your assistant director either doing shelf reading.
I mean,
based on our personalities, we're probably bad at it. So
also, does Melanie have an idea of what's coming in? She's not doing purchasing. So stack maintenance doesn't make that much sense, because you don't want somebody who doesn't purchase to weed, or who doesn't see what's coming in.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is, again, a catch-all. I think that's good with an assistant director. And my only real question is the whole stack maintenance thing, but that may also be a civil service thing. You never know. But for state, local, and other reports.
All right, I'm gonna throw a wrench. Does the assistant director need to have 6 years of paid full-time professional library experience when it's overwhelmingly a management position?
Minimum qualification, 6 years of paid full-time professional life. No, because I mean,
you should have a couple years.
That may also be a civil service requirement.
Okay. I just want to put a bug in, because you could get a great assistant director who comes from nonprofits.
Minimum qualifications are in accordance with New York State Education Department of Library Division of Library Development. Let Sarah know I said it correctly. Administrative capacity is defined. Yeah. So, I mean, seeing this minimum qualifications, this may have to do with DLD.
Okay.
And I can always look that up.
I could send a text.
So what I'm hearing is we really need all of the civil service requirements before we go through these, and while we're looking at them to compare side by side.
We should probably have them looked at by the HR director or HR person to make sure that they're, you know, what is in there that can and could be adjusted.
Okay. So could we come back to these two after we have that knowledge at our next meeting?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll be better prepared for this process for future meetings, and I will be better at sending stuff out, I promise. I'm done with radiation today, so like everything.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
All right, let me look at this. I lost my meeting, I'm sorry, but I think that we're done. We don't need executive session, right? Do we? Do we need executive session?
Nope.
Okay.
Plan the next meeting?
What?
Time frame. Did you want to try to plan the next meeting while everyone's here? Do you have a time frame of how many weeks out you want to look?
That is a good point. When would you all like to meet again? Do we want to do it 2 weeks from now? Is that too frequent? 1 month from now?
Yeah, I think monthly for committee meetings. I think having outside of finance, who has to meet a bunch of times in 1 month.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let's do a month from now. Which puts us at October 19th-ish at like 7. Are you guys okay with that?
That works for me.
Yeah, that's good for me too.
We can do earlier too. Scott, I want to be mindful of your schedule and you have a family.
If you met my family, you would understand that sometimes evening meetings are kind of nice. No, actually, the boys are awesome. And Lindsay is awesome. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, it is easier if we do them earlier. Doing the 7 o'clock meetings sometimes is a little much, but again, we're paid to be here.
No, I know, but I just want to be
three
mindful.
of you are not.
How about a 6 o'clock meeting, Tom and Sarah? That gives us time to eat.
I just want to bring up, you said October 19th, it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
That actually happens, in case anybody in this group is interested, happens to be one of the evenings of the trustee handbook book club. Where they'll be duties and responsibilities from 5 to 6:30. If anybody was interested in that, that's a conflict.
Why don't we make it 6:30 so that if folks are doing that, then they're able to. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Here, look. This is a Boy Scout.
Oh, he's Boy Scout. What troop? What troop?
It's Twin Rivers.
I'm a Lion Scout.
No way.
He's a tiger.
Oh yeah, I'm a Tiger Scout.
Where are they meeting now? Are they still at the church?
Yeah, the church.
Yeah,
a church. My boys were in that troop, and we decided not to go back only because they'd be split up.
Oh, yeah, and that's 2 different areas.
Oh, that's really cool. That's awesome you're doing that.
Thanks.
Good luck on the Derby.
Say thank you.
Oh, I love the Derby.
Okay, Teddy, this is
Yes.
not your meeting.
My boys loved it too.
Done.
Okay, I'm not.
I did that too.
I'll be right there. I'm sorry. So why don't we say 6:30 on the 19th, if that's okay with everybody, and then I'll adjourn. I'd like to take a motion to adjourn the personnel committee.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Awesome. Thank you, guys. I think this was, again, a very productive meeting. I look